Reactions are trailing the comments of the Northern Elders Forum spokesperson Hakeem Baba-Ahmed on the issue of the Presidency come 2023. The Southern and Middle Belt Alliance is condemning the statement, describing it as reckless, careless and insensitive. The group says it expected Baba-Ahmed to choose his words wisely, especially at a time when the country is struggling to remain united. It says the era of One North is in the past and that instead of boasting of numerical strength to win elections, the Northern Elders Forum should look for ways to turn the North's numerical strength into productivity.
Meanwhile, the man in the eye of the storm, Hakeem Baba-Ahmed, spokesman of the Northern Elders Forum, was on the Arise News Morning Show where he defended his position.
Nobody needs to be a second-class citizen, certainly not the Northerner. This country is not meant to have first and second-class citizen. That's the beauty of democracy. What we said is you cannot compel the North to yield to the southern part of the country a right that has been given by the Constitution, our right to choose and elect people that we want. That makes us, if you compel us to do that, that makes us a second-class citizen. This is the same right Southerners want. They want a Southern president. They want the North to vote for a Southern president. They want to vote for a Southern president. And we're saying, don't do that. We will not accept that if the only criteria by which you can define justice and equity and fairness is that a president must come from the southern part of the country, and you compel us one way or the other to create a Southern presidency in spite of our own interests and the rights that we have to choose whether that is an option that is good for us or not, then you make us second-class citizens. Nobody is a second-class citizen. No Northerner, no Southerner. If people have reported what I said in terms of the South being second-class citizen, I'm providing the correction now because apparently the media has gone to town with the idea that the North is arrogant and condescending and is saying that it will not play second-class citizens. We don't want to be and will not be second-class citizens. And we don't want anybody from the South or from anywhere in this country to be second-class citizens. Allow the democratic process to decide who becomes president. If you compel any part of the country, to play second fiddle, they are second-class citizens. We don't think we should do that.
All right, well, joining the conversation from Ibadan, Oyo State, is Chief Ayo Adebanjo, leader of the Pan Yoruba Socio-Political Group of Fenifere. Glad to have you join us on the program. What do you make of the rhetorics of both Hakeem Baba-Ahmed and the reaction from the Southern and Middle Belt Alliance?
It's an unfortunate statement from him. And people like him make us offend those we ought not to offend. The Yorubas have been saying that which means when the misbehavior of a slave make you to condemn even slaves who are better behaved. The way Ahmed is talking, unfortunately, he's behaving as he, of course. By the time we are talking about Nigerian unity, he was not born there. He didn't know what conditions came in. It is because we want to be Nigeria and not us alone. It was the colonial people that brought us together, not with our consent. That is on record. But having brought us together, we have seen the beauty in unity. But we will not be in unity when you will be the rider and we are the horse. That is no problem. All that is talking about is too junior for me to make me offend those who are not to offend. Unfortunately, the decent Fulanis should call such people to order. They don't talk. And they influence those of our young men who believe that we are being insulted. Imagine Ahmed talking about we have the population. Where is the population? Is it the population that Harold Smith told us that it was the colonial people who segmented it for the North? It's on record. Is it the population we see physically on the floor in the north? Where is the population? Except we are going to count the cows and the cattle. So let us move on the basis of unity. And if that is his case, we say let us sit down and agree on how to live together. You refuse. The constitution you are forcing on us now is the one imposed by the military section of the army, the Muslim. This was not a problem until 1966. The conditions under which the founding fathers agreed to come together was based on the independence constitution, agreed to by Balewa, Saudana, and Awolowo. It was not until 1966 when the military came in by force that they changed the constitution, and all the problem we are having now, they put in there in order to oppress the South. Although we are saying that, well, when you now say you are going back to the barracks, you are returning us to civilian regime, send us back to the constitution you met us. Why should that be a problem? And if you are fair, honest, and sincere, if you don't want to do that, that's okay. If you don't want to do that, we don't want to be under a regime at the constitution. Let's sit down together and agree on how to live together. You refuse. You now say that constitution you impose on us, we must choose. You are beating us, you don't want us to cry. We are not going to accept that.
All right, Chief Adebanjo, if I may come in, speaking of the constitution, let me quote you here. You were quoted as saying, no new constitution, no 2023 election. Do you think Nigeria has enough time before 2023 to come up with a new constitution? And I'd also like to throw in, I'd like you to respond to this, because what Baba-Ahmed is saying is that nobody should force the North to choose whom they want to choose come 2023. As a matter of fact, he says a president is produced through the electoral process that allows expression of interest and must allow full participation of politicians and voters. You are insisting that all political parties, especially the major ones, the PDP and the APC, should choose their presidential candidates from the South. And he has reservations about that.
My dear, don't let us pretend not to know where we are coming from or where we are going. Whether it is the PPG or APC, the issue is the North want to come back to power after being there for 8 years. And the founding fathers for amity agreed on rotation. Not because, after all, I make you realize that there are certain convention that's even more powerful than the Constitution. It is just to live together that the question of rotations come in. And if you believe that amiable system does not suit you, this is what is giving cause to the Igbo and the Kanu's. You are making us shame. Those of us don't want secession. It is there when you say now we are going to force the military constitution on us, then they say no, they want to go. And then you now say that if you say it's optioning, it is breaking the country. It is those of you who don't want us to agree on the constitution we agreed to that are causing secession. You can't force the constitution on us. You have said it that this constitution is not ours. You can't force that statement. This is Absalom military constitution dominated by the northern Muslims. You have not been able to dispute that. That is what you want us to use after you say you are returning us to civilian rule. Our case is, okay, if you are returning us to civilian rule, return us to the constitution you abrogated. Why should that be a problem if you are sincere? So I don't let us issue statement that make you feel. You see, the statement Hakeem is making is too arrogant and reckless and irresponsible.
Well,
this is not what we agreed on.
let me come in there. Let me come in there. Now, Hakeem Baba-Ahmed made this comment in relation to the stance of the southern governors that the presidency, they used the word must go to the south. Now, have we stopped to think what will be the state of our nation if the northern governors also banded together and adopt such a stance that the southern governors are adopting?
Yeah, like that. Don't let us change the narrative. Don't pretend as if you don't know where the argument is coming from. Why is the southern governors insisting that it must come to the south? They say that is what we have been practicing. After OBJ became president, Yadua came in. After Yadua, Jonathan. After Jonathan, Buhari. After Buhari, let her come back to the south. What is confusing about that? And you want to pick up the responsible statement of they are saying this, they are saying that. They now say that it is our turn, according to what we have been doing in the past, which is on record. It is that document you must address. So don't let us pretend not to know the issue. That they say they must. What does that got to do with the issue and floor? The people say, my dear, you have been doing this thing by rotation. You have had your own 8 years. The South now must come. If it will not come, it must come here because that is what I did in practice. That is the issue. Don't say whether you use the must, whether you must beg God. And in any event, what right has the North to say they have the population? Therefore, they can disdain the government whether they like it or not. Can they force it themselves on us?
Chief Adebanjo, let me comment very quickly. How exactly do you think this unity that Nigeria is so desirous of, how can it really be achieved against the backdrop of rhetorics coming from here and there? The North is saying, no, we'll have it our way. The South is saying, no, we'll have it our way. Where is that middle ground that, can give Nigerians that sense of belonging wherever they come from?
Yeah. Don't mix up issue, whether middle class or no middle class. Now the issue is, this is a country of various nationalities. That must be taken into consideration the way we rule. And in order to have peace, we say, well, let us get this in the rotation. That's why we have federalism. That's why we divide what function will be the state, what function will be the federal. But the military came and confused the issue. If you have not addressed that, it is because those of us who want the country to remain together say, no, don't let us quarrel. If you want to go, let us have an agreed constitution. If not, send us back to where you met us. It is that one should address. Whether it is rotation or not. What led to rotation? Other than the fact that to make us amicably settled, to settle the question of unity amicably. But if anybody wants now to say that they have a right to dictate who should be the president, who should not be, it should be your turn, and we should come and bow, go talk before you, and before you can grant us whether it is your right. This is ought to be a federation of equal partners and must be on agreed terms. That is the issue that this journalist must address. Whether anybody is twisting the story shouldn't come in. What we are saying is this constitution must be balanced. We must be equal partners if we must stay together. The idea of having a constitution where a small ethnic group is trying to dominate the other will not be acceptable.
Okay, very quickly, let's move away from this particular issue because there are other burning issues on the front burner. Let's talk about this rush of defections, especially from the opposition to the ruling APC, and insinuations that the former President Goodluck Jonathan is likely to join the APC. What are your thoughts first on defections and the likelihood of former president joining the APC?
My dear, these are controversial issues that those who are raising this can't contain themselves, because these are all people I'm used to. These are all people I've worked with. I can't imagine Jonathan being enticed to come and be the president again just to confuse this house. That's the game of the Fulani, divide and rule. It is just to divide this house. Even when they say they give it to the West, they sponsor several candidates there. They say it's Tinubu. It is like that Tinubu. He say Oshibaju. Oshibaju is there. He say Fayemi. If not Fayemi, it's Amosu in one breath. When they know they've settled that confusion, they now come to those out, Tyson, Jonathan. I would have expected Jonathan to have told them, no, don't bring me in. That is what Jonathan is expected to do. For him to even keep quiet and say, I'm not going, I'm going, he said, it's an appointment to me. I campaigned for him in 2015 when I said nobody should vote for Buhari. And Tinubu foolishly agreed with Buhari for a coalition. It's on principle. How can you say we are in a united country and a section of the country has no right to achieve to the highest office? That is my principle. You don't have the gang up. What the North is trying to do is to say, well, the moment I can get the Southwest, we can be rotating it.
Well, life is about choices. If the former president wants to go anywhere and contest again, I guess he's allowed to do that because life is about choices. But I want to take you back to this question of unity. Shouldn't elders like you be looking for what one will call a middle ground, a little to the left, a little to the right, instead of stoking the embers of disunity? Because if Nigeria burns, nobody's safe.
What is a little to the right of this matter? We say we are rotating presidency. Why should it be as now that you are talking of a little to the right and to the left? You journalists, you are confusing the whole thing. If you have the concept of a little to the right, little to the left, is that the condition that the other we come together in 1960? Is that the agreement in London Constitutional Conference? Because we know where we are coming from. Where we are coming from is after the crisis of 1953 in Nigeria, under Governor Mafasi, Lord Chandos invited all the political leaders to London, Lord Chandos in 1953, and they agreed to the 1954 constitution that created federalism, under which each region has premiership. And they agreed on what function they are going to give to the central government and what function they are going to give to the region. That was what we are carrying on until 1959 and 60, when we were embedded in the independent constitution. And we are at peace with our brother. Revenue allocation was settled, state police, local government, everything there. The point I want you to address is, until 1966, when the army came in, have we got this trouble? And what is the cause of this trouble? It is the constitution, by decree, by the army, by a section of the country, which is loaded against the South in favor of the North, that is causing the trouble. And we now say, well, if we are going to continue to live together, let us go back to what we agreed to when we agreed to come together. Why should that be a problem? If everybody is here, and you journalists are expanding the question that does not arise. The Southern governor said, well, Mr. President, let us have a dialogue. You said no. It is the constitution that you came in that will be used. And you think you are deceiving us so well. The National Assembly will do the amendment. Which National Assembly? The National Assembly is a product of the fraudulent constitution. We have been saying that constitution is fraudulent, so that you have not been able to refute that. That is the question. If you want peace, don't let us prove across the house.
Very quickly, we have less than 2 minutes to go, Chief Adebanjo. What are the guarantees, really, that a 1963 constitution holds the answers to Nigeria's development and progress, considering that there have been other constitutions after that, there have been national conferences and what have you? What do you think is the problem fundamentally, apart from the issue of constitution? Is it not the political class that continues to beat this drum of disunity?
My dear, that is how far your knowledge goes. That is how far your knowledge goes. What are you telling me that? Was there any problem before 1966? That's what should I address. That's my question. That the constitution we have now is not ours. It was imposed by force. What we all agreed to was moved on until 1966. Dispute that. And then we carry on from there. Don't change the narrative.
To the past before it can move forward. And that past seems to be the 1963 Constitution.
That was what Balewa and Saudana, Awolowo, and Azikiwe agreed to. Even the question of revenue allocation, before oil was discovered, when oil was still discovered, it was still 50% to the state. And the 1959-60 Constitution said there that residual part is in the state, and the question of revenue of VAT and everything is in the state. I know how it was fought for. People who don't drink, who regarded this as immoral, now want to take the process of drinking. How logical, how moral, how fair, how equitable is that? You journalists have a lot of things to do. Don't try to.
Chief Adebanjo, what in 1 minute or a second? Do you still believe? Yes, we need to get this in. Do you still believe in Nigeria, or do you think Nigeria is a failed project?
I don't believe in Nigeria. That is border dash. I have invested in Nigeria more than anybody. I have been investing in Nigeria when Mr. President himself was in primary school. In 1979, I spent 1 year in Maiduguri, where you have Boko Haram now, campaigning for the UPN. If I don't love one Nigeria, why do I have to go there? But they don't go into the questions you don't understand. Those of you who are asking the question now, when we are talking of 1950, many of you are not born then. You all grew up under this military fraudulent constitution, so you can't understand the fairness. And when we refer you to it, go and examine it. We say we want to live together, and that we have settled those conditions before. And we are telling you where this thing went wrong. Why don't you examine that whether we are right or wrong?
Chief Ayo Adebanjo, Chieftain, the head of the Afeni Ferry. Thank you so much, Yoruba Socio-Political Group leader there.